What's Claude Code and what does it mean for your innovation projects? Well, after this, you know better what it is, you can get started with it faster and you have insights in what does it mean for your innovation success. First is, Claude Code and vibe coding really impacts my work as a professional keynote speaker. I think it's unbelievable. Comment, like and subscribe. Do you have a remark or a question? Please let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, and if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Question: have you tried Claude Code yet? Type 1 for yes and 0 for no in the comments. My name is Joosten. I'm a futurist, a keynote speaker, and innovation expert. My theme is how to become future-proof, so what's heading our way concerning technology like AI, and what can you do yourself to be better prepared for the future. And if you want to hire me, for example, to give a keynote talk or a session about vibe coding, Claude Code innovation and strategy, please send me a message. So what's vibe coding and what's Claude Code? Well, after this, it does not take long, you know what you need to know about these two concepts. But before we do that, I want to start with an example how I use vibe coding in my work as a futurist and an innovation expert. And for that, we are going to the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands. So one of the elements in working with scenarios, with scenario planning, is that you bring it back to the present. And that's a method called backcasting. So what are some actions and insights you gained from the scenarios? And if you go back to the here and now, what are some things you can do right now? Well, and I made a tool with vibe coding, with Claude Code, that each participant, they were working in groups, they first have to fill in their group number. And after that, their action or insight based on the scenario they're in. And then I also used AI to make a cluster analysis of all the answers. So I think it really helps me in my work as a futurist innovation researcher to make my own tooling specific on the needs and the requirements I have. Claude is a language model created by the company Anthropic. So you also have the Claude chat over here. You have co-work. Maybe I will cover that in another video. I also like the co-work. But this is Claude Code, and it's a sort of an AI programming assistant. And Claude Code is an application that allows you to give Claude commands over here via the terminal. This is a desktop app. You can use the web, but I use the desktop app. So you can use a terminal. That's where it originally started, the web and the desktop app. And I like to use the desktop app, and I will also show that during this presentation. And what's really nice is that Claude Code can directly work with files on your computer. So it can write, customize code, create text, do research, install programming tools and perform tests. So it does quite a lot. So I like the analogy that it's like having a coding assistant who can look directly into your project files and make adjustments. So I can summarize this like Claude Code is, you can say, are three things. It's a virtual software developer. So you describe what you want in normal human language and Claude Code writes the code for you. It also has a smart context. So Claude Code fills in the correct technical context. So you don't need any jargon about computer programming code, JavaScript, Python. You can see I'm not a programmer. And the third one is it's like a sort of a harness for AI. So the Claude model sits in the middle and around it sits Claude Code like a layer that makes the model more powerful. You can use Claude Code at the moment if you also pay for Claude. And now it works on Apple and Windows. But if you watch this computer, it can be different again. And other labs also have similar tools like Codex by OpenAI and Gemini CLI. But this gives you an idea of these kinds of AI programming tools. If you zoom out, it's really an astonishing phenomenon because anybody who can speak English can now make their own software. So I think it has an enormous impact on innovation and on organizations. And that's also why I, as a futurist innovation expert, think this is really a really interesting and a profound development. And maybe another term you heard is vibe coding. So that means that non-technical folks like me can code. So how does Claude Code work? Well, after this, you can get started faster with my demonstration. Later, I will share the tool itself and also how I used it during one of my keynote presentations. But this is Claude Code, just a basic. There are more things you can do, like routines and customize, and this also that you can say, okay, does it need? Is it planning mode or ask permissions? You can also select your model. You can also add files, speak with it. But what's most important is that you select the folder in which it works. So I have a folder called vibe coding. And here you can type in, just like your regular chat, your question. So this is something I want for a keynote presentation: build a web app that helps people analyze the implementation risk of a change or innovation using the Knoster change model. So if the model does not know what the Knoster, if the AI does not know the Knoster change model, it will look it up. The user types a short description of their change initiative, click analyze, and the app generates 5 risk cards, 1 per Knoster element: vision, skills, incentives, resource, action plan. And each card shows what goes wrong with that element, well, blah, 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 blah. And I also have my own layout with XO2 font and some colors. It has smooth cards and animations. And you also have an export button. So this is my prompt, and then I type in, here we go. So you can also view the transcript. And then it asks, okay, can I work in that folder? And then you say, okay, yeah, you can run. You say, okay, can it do this? You can see how long it takes, how many tokens it uses. And well, normally I read longer what it says. Now I just say allow. You can also have another mode that it runs freely for a longer period of time, but I like to use this. So one bonus tip is that you can use AI to make a good prompt for Claude Code or other vibe coding tools. So that's something I do like basically every time, that I first use Claude Chat or Gemini or Copilot or ChatGPT. Like, this is what I want to build. Can you improve my prompt that I can use later for Claude Code? So from my role as an innovation expert and a futurist, what does it all mean? Well, after this part, you know the impact of these types of tools on innovation processes and organizations. So as an innovation expert, I use the 5I model, and I also made a video about this model. It contains a couple of steps with the letter I: identification, inventorization, ideation, iteration, implementation. And vibe coding and Claude Code really fits nicely with the step of iteration. Because when you have an idea for a product or service or tool or whatever, then you can make it yourself. You don't need the IT department, you don't need programmers anymore, you can make it yourself. And I think that's really a game changer for innovation. Also think of hackathons, if you want to demonstrate your idea for your users or for your director team, you can just make it yourself, and it works way better than reports or a PDF or whatever. If people really can see it and work with it, that really increases the chances of your innovation success and adoption. So what does it mean for organizations and companies? For that, we're going to Deventer in the Netherlands, where I gave a talk for MBA students. So I talked with students about vibe coding and the enormous opportunities it gives, also within their own company or organization, because they are managers, directors, entrepreneurs, that employees can build their own tools, application, apps, and that can lead to cost reduction, to process efficiency, maybe also to employee satisfaction, because you're working with the tool you especially designed yourself, so it's really suited to your needs. But there's also another side, of course, like how do all these tools, individual tools of all your colleagues, communicate with each other? What's the data basis? Do they share data? What are the privacy concerns, security concerns? What about updating these systems? So yeah, we had a lively discussion about the concept of vibe coding and its impact on innovation, on organization, and on strategy. And what's the impact on public organizations? I gave a talk for the Dutch tax authority where I also covered vibe coding. So I talked about the impact of vibe coding for internal processes, for how they make software, for example, also with all the possibilities and also the risks, of course. But I also went one step further. So what would it mean if you have companies without people in it, without real persons in it? What would that mean for how these companies conduct their business? And maybe they're also optimized in their algorithms to reduce the tax burden on them. And what would that mean for our tax system here in the Netherlands, but all around the world? These are really important things we have to think about right now. So my takeaway, Claude Code is ideal for testing ideas. You have to pay attention to the impact for organizations, also for public organizations. And I think now is really the moment to try it out for yourself, to see what works, what doesn't work, what are the limits, what are the benefits, because we are in a really special time with these tools and what you can make with it and what's the impact on work. It's astonishing, I think. As you can see, I'm quite enthusiastic about these kinds of tools and vibe coding. And like I also mentioned, it has a major impact on my work as a keynote speaker. And to illustrate that, I take you to Enschede, it's also in the Netherlands, where I gave a talk at the university. And here you can see what I made, what you just saw, what I made with Claude Code about the Knoster implementation model. And here you can see how it looks and how I used it during my work. So I gave a tool for students biomedical technologies, and one of the things, the topic of my talk was how do you get to the implementation of a new technology or a new innovation. And for that I shared the model of Knoster called the Viper model. So I adapted some of the terms in the model. And it's about you need a vision, you need incentives, you need a plan, you need expertise, and you need resources. You need all of these elements. If you're lacking one, then the chances of success is becoming marginal, gets to zero. You really get to have them all. So I explained the theory, I illustrated with an anecdote, but then I also shared a tool which I made with vibe coding, where the students can also practice with imaginary or with a case later after my talk with the help of AI. So if we have an innovation like robotics in a hospital, for example, what would happen if we're lacking vision? What would happen if we're lacking incentives, plan, if there's no plan, if they're lacking expertise, if they're lacking resources? And also after that there's a little field where they can fill in what would their action plan be, what would their response or strategy be to mitigate the risks of, for example, lacking a vision. So I think that's really awesome that the students can learn and work with the theory I handed to them during my keynote presentation. Question: did you try Claude Code yet? Type 0 if the answer is no, type 1 if the answer is yes. Leave a comment down below. And also if you have another question, also let me know. So thanks for watching. If you want to hire me for a keynote presentation, consultancy or webinar, for example about vibe coding, Claude Code and its impact on innovation and strategy in your organization, send me a message. And like I mentioned, comment, like and subscribe. If you have a remark or question, let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you like this video and want more of these types of videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. What free ideas. So it also fits it knows what I'm working on AI, about trends, and about presentation stress tester. Oh, right, a hostile audience. Ooh.